Arsenal have done the unthinkable. They told us it was impossible every now and then. A story comes along that people laugh at. But they ain't laughing now, and we have reached that point, and all I've got to say to people is, they ain't really messed with us way back then, but how about now? Vinny Jr. has agreed terms with Arsenal. Mockery is what they were serving up. They are eating humble pie right now like it is a Sunday lunchtime. I can't believe the deal has actually been agreed, but they told me Vinny Jr., there's not an ounce of possibility that Vinny Jr. would even consider moving to your club. Not only would he consider it, but he actually sees it as an interesting opportunity. Let me read you what Big Dave Ornstein's talking about. Not just anyone, Big Dave. Vinicius Jr. future entering crucial stage. Talks in coming days over extension at Real Madrid or free exit 2027. Or join Arsenal now. Arsenal are all in the 26-year-old winger. Attracted by opportunity. He's what? He's attracted by the opportunity. He looks at Arsenal and there's attraction and it burns people up. Because I thought we was deluded for even daring to have a conversation about Vinicius Jr. People were rolling their eyes in their head, calling us deluded. Look, this is why people hate Arsenal. You guys are so why would he leave Real Madrid to move to Arsenal? What, the same guy who's interested by the opportunity of joining Big Mick? Come on, hand of Arsenal as well. If you can't tell, I'm slightly excited. Not much, maybe just a little bit. Hand of Arsenal exclusive. Arsenal Football Club have personal terms agreed in principle with Vinicius Jr. Rock Nation will go armed into negotiations with Real Madrid with a monstrous offer from the English champions. Over to you, Vinicius Jr. So, Rock Nation will go into that meeting and say, you're offering us peanuts. They've offered us up a full roast dinner. How can you compete with that? Look, this deal still might not happen. I'm not getting carried away, by the way, but it's just this constant barrage we've had to endure for even speaking about Arsenal transfer news. The people that have labelled us deluded. Oh my God, I can't believe every year that you get linked with a player where there's no shot. It's just the media building it up. What are you saying now? To the people who didn't believe it, what are you saying? And to the Arsenal fans who believed and knew this was a possibility, I'm sure you're like me. I'm not saying it's done. I'm not saying at the start, 2 weeks' time, we're going to see Vinicius Jr. in an Arsenal shirt. But we could do. We absolutely could do. And it's proven by multiple sources, multiple reports. Vinicius Jr. likes the idea of joining Arsenal. It doesn't mean it's 100% going to happen, but it could well do. He might be looking at things right now. And like I said, there's movement in Real Madrid. The coach, new coach, he's been overtaken in terms of star player by Mbappe. You've got Jude Bellingham, who appears to be having more love over in Spain, and Vinicius Jr. does feel pushed away. He feels let down slightly. There was an argument with Xabi Alonso where he feels disrespected. To the people saying they think Vinicius Jr. is a bad egg, you might be right, but why do we not just give this guy a chance? Arsenal have needed something different for a long time. Most people look at Arsenal and say, do you know what, they're a decent team. Where's their star players? Where's their players when they need someone to drag them through? Where's the difference makers? Where's the game winners? I think that's disrespectful to some of the quality players we already have wearing the red and white jersey. I think of Bukayo Saka. I think of Declan Rice. I think Martin Odegaard can be that guy. And I look at Gabriel and Saliba. These are guys who are difference makers. But in the forward areas, if people would like more difference makers, then I'm here to listen to you. I'm not going to put your opinion down because you think we need something different in attack. And in fact, I probably would agree with you. I would like to see a difference in how we approach certain games. And maybe Mikel Arteta is only doing the best he has with the tools he has. And if he had different personnel, maybe, just maybe there's a possibility he would approach it in a more attacking way. with a player like Vinicius Jr., it gives you options. There's so many things you can do with a Vinicius Jr. You can stretch back lines. You can play more attacking. Now, to the people who are getting frustrated, yeah, but he's not the typical Mikel Arteta signing. Maybe we need something different to push on and win that Champions League. Yeah, but he doesn't track back. And why are we always judging a winger by what they can do defensively? I agree they need to be able to chip in. And when you actually deep dive into what Vinicius Jr. can offer defensively, in terms of interceptions, in terms of tackle made, I think he's actually above all of the Arsenal wingers. So to the people who are saying Vinicius Jr. is this bad egg who's lazy, who won't track back, I think you're misreading the entire situation. Go and watch what Vinicius Jr. offers. Don't forget, this guy's still Brazilian. And no matter what you think of the Brazilians, you can never say they don't have desire, they don't have hunger, they're not workhorses. That's exactly why you identify as South American, and that's the kind of player you want in your team. So I look at this deal and it excites me more than so much. Let me know your thoughts on Vinicius Jr. and the possibility, I might add, that he could join Arsenal. Terms are not a problem. He's agreed terms and he's actually interested by the opportunity of joining Arsenal. I don't need to say much more. A few years ago, I only dreamt of being linked with the best players in the world. And now some of the best players in the world, it would appear, are more than happy to wear the Arsenal shirt. Buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Norgard to Everton is a deal that's being reported. £7 million. David Ornstein's come out again and again. When David Ornstein reports something, you can take it to the bank because it's going to happen. Norgard, what do I think? Good player. Appreciative of when he did play for Arsenal, what he could offer us. Mikel Arteta didn't fancy him. I thought he could have played more minutes. I know you guys, some of you who've been long-time watchers, think he could have had more minutes because we had discussion during points of last season where we was like, I would like to see Norgard more. I think there's an opportunity to shuffle that midfield and maybe rest a Declan Rice in certain moments and play Norgard. And we saw him in defence last season and he was capable, but Mikel Arteta decided he wasn't quite the fit for Arsenal, and that's okay because I think he's good enough. Again, I appreciate I don't watch him every day in training. I'm not seeing everything behind the scenes, so I put my trust into Mikel Arteta. And if he deems the player's not good enough, then fine, the player's not good enough. Let's move him on respectfully, say thank you for your service. Let's bring in someone Mikel Arteta is more willing to play. Who is that? Why are Arsenal getting rid of a midfielder? Why are we leaving ourselves short? Because Bruno is going to join Arsenal. £80 million. Happy. Vinicius Jr., Bruno Guimaraes. I don't think now there is any chance of Arsenal losing Gabriel Martinelli, by the way, because I'm sure these guys, like there's the brilliant Brazilian contingent now in this Arsenal team. It's almost like a bit of a core. If we get these two guys, and again, I'm not getting ahead of myself, Bruno, I'm far more certain that one's going to happen. But if you get these guys, there is a Brazilian core in this Arsenal team that is good for Arsenal. And again, Brazilian aren't at the right top level right now, but having that chemistry definitely bodes well for Arsenal, and I am so excited for this season. Arsenal want the player. He's been approved at every single level, and now Vinny Jr. has shown that he wants Arsenal. And the fact that Rock Nation are going into those negotiations with this offer, they're basically saying there's an ultimatum. You beat this offer, or we're going to Arsenal. And Real Madrid are saying this is your last offer, or you go to Arsenal. So again, that doesn't mean it's going to happen. But if this was Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, City, Tottenham, lol, they would never do that. But if it was any of these teams, they would be slightly excited by the prospect of Vinny joining them as well. And as the weeks have progressed, the chances are only going up. The friendly, some of the players that are playing in that game excite me because you look, Nwaneri, I'll read the team out for the people who haven't seen it. And if the game's already happened, I'll read these names out and tell me how these guys got on, because most of you, by the time I've edited and uploaded, would have watched that game or seen highlights of that game. So let me know your thoughts on some of these players. Kepa in goal, Ben White, Mosquera, Nkapie, Calafiori, Lewis Skelly, Havertz, Nwaneri, Dauman, Zolis, and Gyökeres. And the position that interests me most is who's playing right wing, because we don't have an out-and-out right winger on that field. No Madueke, no Bukayo Saka. So who starts on the right? Whoever it is, whether it be Dauman or Nwaneri, I truly see a real possibility of them pushing ahead of Noni Madueke in the pecking order. And I would love for one of these guys to do it. Not disrespectfully to Noni Madueke, to say I don't appreciate him as a player, but it's just something I've got a really big feeling about this season. That right-hand side, I see a possibility of, I thought it would be Nwaneri. Again, people have question marks around Nwaneri, so possibly it won't be. I know not all of you guys are over the moon with the way he conducts himself, but that aside, Mikel Arteta still might be willing to give him another chance. And to see him on that right wing in this game, if it is him, or maybe the biggest signal would be Max Dowman. If Mikel Arteta looks at Max Dowman and says, do you know what, go and play on the